Hi everyone, this is Charlie Veitch reporting from the sunny climes of northern England. Apologies if there's a bit of wind noise, but we'll brave through it. Now, many months ago, there were a spate of free speech events where people were trying to criticize the encroaching blasphemy laws in this country, and also to try and make a protest about Islamism. And what these men were doing, they were burning the Korans in various places. A man was arrested in Manchester for doing it, and there was a man who attempted it and he set fire to it in central London. Now, if you've not seen the footage, which I hope many of you have, it's very harrowing. I'll tell you what happened. So he set fire to the book. It was there smouldering. And then a man, who I'll describe as a silver-haired man in his 50s, it's been revealed that he is in his 50s, so he's a middle-aged man, much older than me. He arrived with a large kitchen knife, a 12, 15-inch blade, a big knife, and he started slashing at the man, trying to cut him. I think he did get a couple of injuries on his hand. He sliced him a little bit, saying, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." And the guy who was burning the book was in such fear for his life that he fell over and he's on the ground. And the guy was stood above him with a knife. And not many people remember this, but if you watch the extended footage, a delivery driver who was maybe of also a certain religious persuasion came along and kicked the man as he was on the ground, being threatened to be stabbed to death. Now, I was terrorized by that footage. In my opinion, it was an act of terror, of Islamic or Islamist terror, if you prefer. And I genuinely believe that the man that was burning the book believed he was about to die. He was about to be stabbed to death in one of the richest cities on earth. Anyway, the reason why we're bringing this up again, an English judge has decided that his crime, in my opinion, terrorism, did not deserve a custodial sentence, as in he served 0 days in jail. He will serve 0 days in jail for a vicious and violent act of terror with a knife on the streets of London. Now, this raises a lot of big issues. A lot of big issues. We've got issues with the encroaching blasphemy laws. I've just had a coffee, forgive me. Encroaching blasphemy laws in this country. And there are issues also with rising extremism and an emboldened Islamism that, after 20 years of mass immigration, they'll become British, they'll become moderate, they'll chill out, they'll be relaxed. Have they relaxed? No. When you've got men with silver hair, men of advanced years in their late 50s, getting so angry because someone's making a political point that he was willing to potentially throw his own life away by committing a murder on the streets of England. It makes me worry. This was a man in his 50s. So what about the thousands of younger men who may have neurological problems due to inbreeding from their parents? Certain cultures love a bit of first cousins. They see their dad's sister's daughter, and they're like, you know what? She looks enough like me. Oh yeah. And that's wrong. It's wrong genetically. It's wrong morally. And it creates a lot of neurological problems. Like with inbreeding, it's not just the visual deformities that arise. We get the famous Habsburg chin or lack of chin. It's also neurological problems are the first things to go wrong. Your brain is very complicated. Now, the assailant, the knife attacker, was a Turkish man. And I don't think the Turks are into their cousins as much as other members of the extended Islamist world. You have to be careful what you say. If I say one word wrong, if I say Islamic instead of Islamist, the thought police will come to my door. But we're all shocked. All the opposing political leaders. I mean, Labour, the Labour government, which has now a Muslim Home Secretary who attends Free Palestine protests. And let's not forget the Labour government, which after decades of Hamas terrorism and torture and killing, whilst they still hold 50 hostages, 20 who are assumed to still be alive, although in the most abject, horrible conditions. Our government, they don't represent us, certainly not. They recognize the Palestine state. And like a Monty Python sketch, my international audience, we had a very popular, very famous comedy show and series of films. Monty Python, you may have heard of The Life of Brian. You may have heard of Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. You may know John Cleese. And the other ones, I forget their names. Good guys. Eric Idle, what's the other one? Then there's Anyway. Britain is becoming an extended comedy sketch. And I'd be going, ha ha ha, if I didn't think that my life and the life of my children was also in danger. Now, coming back to the Home Secretary, we have a Muslim Home Secretary. That's like the equivalent of the Secretary of State in America, who attends Free Palestine marches. And that's strange in itself. I know it might sound weird that a politician should be apolitical, but let me just put it this way. A politician should certainly be a-religious, especially if you're not, of the mainstream religion of the country that you're meant to be representing. So what the absolute hell is going on? What the F is going on? There is pressure, I believe, from investors in Great Britain, extremely rich Arab billionaires, trillionaires even, Qataris, Saudis, Kuwaitis, who, according to the rules of the financial system, have played along since Standard Oil and the American Arabian Oil Company back in the 30s and 40s. Here's how it works. You'll know it from the film Network. You have messed with the fundamental forces of the universe. So, the West buys Arab oil, sends trillions to Muslim countries, and the rule is, the kind of agreement, the old boy agreement is, they then reinvest that money in the West. They buy British services, American services, German, French, Canadian, Australian, and it's been a good system. But not only did they invest their money into goods and services in the West, they also started investing into extremist groups. And it's very weird, because on the streets of London or Manchester or Edinburgh, when you meet a Saudi, a young Kuwaiti, a young guy from the United Arab Emirates, Bahraini, whatever, from the Gulf, they're usually very civilized, nice, educated, polite individuals. And that's probably because they come from very rich families. They're over here studying English. And so, the fact that their extended family back home, the Wahhabis in Saudi, start funding the Muslim Brotherhood, terror groups, Hamas, Palestine this, Antifa that, it's destabilizing. It creates problems. And we've got a kind of rabid encouragement now. They are encouraged. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Young Islamist people, and let's not forget, there are, and this is a fact, please verify it, it's not just hyperbole. It's not hyperbole. There are 40,000 young Islamist men currently being monitored by our security services, MI5, and we have the international MI6. That's like the equivalent of the CIA internationally and the FBI at home. Now, I don't know how many the FBI are monitoring, but in this country, we spend billions making sure that we stop hot-headed, sometimes inbred people. Can I say it? Can I say it? Look at that self-censorship. A British man on British clay, on British land, censoring his jokes. Because I don't want a knock at the door by the police. I don't want to have my liberty removed from me like a dirty dog, like a farm animal, have to be put in a box 24 hours and then laid with charges for vocal cord violations, for tap-tap violations, for a joke on YouTube. The guy burning the book was doing free speech. It's a book. We're a civilized Western nation. Well, we used to be. We're going back to the Stone Age. We're turning into a third world country politically. We're turning into a third world country culturally. And this sets a very dangerous precedent, extremely dangerous precedent All the hot-headed younger, the guy was in his late 50s. Imagine all the younger, more extremist guys in their 20s, late teens, 22 years old, extremely aggressive, almost went to join ISIS. Almost. They're saying, if someone says something, hurts the book, burns our holy book, I can literally attack them with a knife, a big knife, threaten to kill them. That won't serve a day in jail. Not one day. Not one day. Now, I want you to imagine a scenario where, say in central London, a couple of Muslim guys were going to do a protest about freedom of religion, started burning a Bible, the Holy Bible. I want you to imagine an English guy come running out of a pub, English, with a big knife, start slicing at them, saying, I will kill you. Do you think he would serve 1 day in jail? He'd serve 7 years in jail. We know it. We know it. During the riots a year ago after the Southport massacre, a personal acquaintance of mine was convicted for vocal cord violations outside a migrant hotel stroke barracks, stroke invading barracks. He saw, during the riots, a group of young Muslims attack a man, an Englishman, with a hammer, split his head open. This traumatized my acquaintance, who will remain, I know, a lot of you know who he is. I hope he's watching as well. This one's for you, dude. For his vocal cord violations, didn't touch anyone, did not touch anyone. Didn't pull out a weapon, he pulled out his phone, just like I have. He made his opinions clear about how he felt about people who are culturally different being in Britain. He was jailed for 2.5 years. Yeah, a guy could pull out a massive knife, literally cut the guy, say he's going to kill him. It's an act of terrorism on the streets of London. And because the judge, and before you all ask, it was an English judge, I think Christopher Hiddleston was the name of the judge. Now, don't send him, hey, I do not advise, not off what I'm saying, don't target him. He is a symptom of a wider malaise. Now, I make that clear for legal reasons. Don't do anything. I'm not advising anyone to do anything bad. Seriously. But generally, politically, we need to kick up a fuss. He said that the guy, the knife attacker, he's of exemplary character. You mother effer. You stupid sucker of the satanic phallus. You piece of shit. How is attacking someone with a huge knife, someone who isn't attacking you, who isn't being violent, he's burning a book, political point, la 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 la. How is that of exemplary character? I know you're saying in the past, but if I'm of an exemplary character and I attack someone with a knife, I beat someone up, God forbid, I do worse than that. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You're now this. You are now a murderer, rapist, knife attacker, terrorist. The list goes on. We are at the brink, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the precipice of something very bad. I don't like the way it's going. I really don't. And every morning on X, stroke Twitter, X, I see more and more evidence, not just from Britain, but all over America, all over Canada, all over Australia, all over Europe. Who else felt fear watching the hordes, thousands of balaclavaed young men of a Muslim descent in Milan smashing up all the city centre beautiful buildings, chasing the police out of there? Can you imagine if a Jewish person, like with a full Orthodox garb, was there on holiday? I'm in Milan, let's go see this beautiful city in the north of Italy, we're near the Alps, might go do a bit of skiing, whatever. Next thing you know, he goes around the corner and 7,000 frothing at the mouth, fired up Islamists come across him. They'd be murders. And what are they going to say? Oh, they were exemplary character. That, oh my God, that reminds me. It's doing the rounds again. When the pro-Palestine protests started in London, we've now got footage of a police inspector or sergeant, I forget, telling a young Jewish guy, "You are visibly Jewish. You need to leave or I will arrest you for a public order offense." Now, what is this? 1939 Germany? Is this stormtroopers rounding up Jews? What next? Are the police gonna paint a little yellow star on Jewish people's chests just so that, because that's even more visibly Jewish. So imagine the guy in Milan, the Orthodox Jew, murdered by the mob. What are the Italian authorities going to say? Well, you asked for it, you were visibly Jewish. We are at the brink. I don't know exactly what to suggest, except this is the thing, guys. It's two-tier justice. It's two-tier things. We are bending over backwards to accommodate people who want us dead. Literally that. Christian morality, Christian love is being weaponized against us by people who are not playing by the same rules. So in this situation, I have to agree with Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert. He got in a lot of shit, but the political landscape has changed now. Nobody gives an F about being called racist, because it's not about race, it's about culture. I am a British culturalist. I believe the recent British culture, before we went doolally, is the finest culture on earth. Very proud that we created America. If you read the Declaration of Independence, if you read the American Constitution, two of the most beautifully British-inspired libertarian tracts of poetry and philosophy ever written. And I agree with Trump castigating and telling off the scum at the UN. Let's not go into the stopped escalators or the sabotage teleprompters. But Trump says that Europe, we're allowing our countries to go to hell. We're all going to hell. And what the hell is going on? I can only advise my viewers to avoid certain city centers. Like Scott Adams says, stay the hell away from these people. Because they can attack you with a knife, cut you up, and not serve a day in jail for a vocal cord violation, for a political protest, for a tap-de-tap. The British government has disarmed people, and it's good. We don't have school shootings. We don't have 30,000 gun deaths a year. But we do have millions of people living in fear. Because when it kicks off, let's say there are riots in city centers, when small groups of Islamist fanatics come for certain people, there's not enough police, not enough soldiers, and the awful news. Don't know why I was going to... The awful news. Every day, another 500 to 1,000 more young, angry, sexually frustrated, mostly Islamic men arrive here illegally. You're paying for it, I'm paying for it. 4-star hotels for the lot, £50 HMV voucher. Soon they're going to be, you know, the political lobby that's been fully infiltrated by Islamists are going to demand state-appointed girlfriends for these young men because we don't want to be racist. They're enriching us so much, and we are the nasty, racist, evil, white Christian people who are dominating. You know, it's our fault that we have these magical lands, these fertile, beautiful, green and pleasant lands. Look at it. Look at it. They want to throw all that in the shitter. They want to destroy all this. They want to never have young boys and young girls playing out on the street in their bicycles until sunset, until it's tea time to come home, until it's dinner time. I went round Ellesmere Port. There's no children playing out in the street. You might have saw the video with English Ned. There's no children playing out in the street because it's literally not safe. Do you know why it's not safe? The mass on-purpose importation of rapists and scumbags. As Trump said, emptying the prisons, send them to Europe. Not our problem. Fuck it. Expand the Islamist world. Take over Europe. They've not forgiven us for the Crusades. They've not forgiven us for stopping them at the gates of Vienna. Big thanks to the Poles, the Polish, the winged hussars. You guys effing kicked ass. And it's our turn to kick ass again. Verbally. You have to be careful. They're going to come for me. Charlie's inciting. No, I'm not. I'm warning. I'm advising my viewers to stay away from certain people. You have to stay away. The game isn't fair. The game is rigged now. And only, unfortunately, mass political change. We need to try and force a general election. We need to get reform in. Finally, Nigel Farage is talking about mass deportation of millions of people. Finally. It's a start. I have great sympathy for the other parties as well. I'm a big fan of what some of the Christian nationalists are saying as well, some of the other parties, but we do need to unite and get this Labour government out. Because I don't think we've got 4 years. I'll be dead within 4 years if it carries on like this. Your children will be at risk. I wish I had better news, but every day it gets worse. And we need some good news for a change. We need some good news. We need some British values. We need some rule Britannia and God save the king. Perhaps not this king, but the next king. This is Charlie Veitch from the sunny climes of northern England, one of the most beautiful countries on earth. We ruled the planet. We had the British Empire. No one's as powerful as British united as in together. I'm not saying any united reform. No, united British Christians conquered and brought democracy to the whole planet. It was the British in the 1800s that cancelled and enforced the banning of slavery because of our Christianity, which is now being used against us. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Avoid city centres. Avoid certain people.